Starts now. We're recording. We're live. Anyways, guys, so to talk about the questions, Trenthony, pretty sure it's Trenthony, Trey put in group chat, talk about how to get ads to stick to apps and how to get around getting banned. So personally, guys, I'm not sure about you guys. I'd love to hear everybody's feedback in the group chat or raise your hand. We'll call on you. We'll go around. We'll talk about apps. What is everybody's experience with apps? Because me personally, I love the apps, but you do get banned easily on them. You do get flagged. And in my opinion, honestly, the apps don't produce as quality leads. Like, they don't produce quality leads like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist or paid Facebook ads. I really don't think that the ads produce quality leads. I have made money off of the apps, but it just seems like apps, you always get flagged, and it just seems like more of a spammy platform. People on apps, I've had a lot of people who don't even show up, which is really irritating, obviously. People who just want to waste your time. And the reason being, I think the user base on apps, guys, such as OfferUp, LetGo, 5 Mile, etc., I think that it's a younger user base. And that's why, where Craigslist and Facebook, you have a wider age range of people who are using that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of how, I'm looking at it, I guess. But as far as getting stuff to stick on apps, what I've done is I always do paid ads, and I try and not post that much on apps just because of the fact that I do think it gets flagged a lot easier. But me personally, I haven't been using apps a whole lot. I post on apps sporadically, and by that I mean basically I will post an ad on a couple different apps, and then I'll let it sit for like 2 weeks. And believe it or not, what I've found out on some of the apps, in my opinion, at least in my market, sometimes less is more, guys. Like if you post an ad or 2 ads, let's say on an app, and you just let them sit for 2 weeks, sometimes you'll get all the leads or all the people that have kind of been waiting to sell their phones. But if you spam an app every day or every other day, you're just going to dry up the market. I know that sounds odd, but it just seems like each app or each platform kind of has like a hot spot. Like Craigslist seems like you can post almost every day or every other day and you're still going to get leads. But on apps or like Facebook Marketplace, I remember when Facebook Marketplace was really hot, I would post, I had like 8 ads running up on Marketplace, and it kind of seemed like I almost dried the market out a little bit. Like leads were starting to come in slower. My market is a lot smaller than most of your guys's. I live in Eau Claire, the population's only 60,000, and then I came from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, which is only 13,000. So it's really not all that big of a population. What do you guys think of this? If you guys are kind of picking up on this group chat, what do you guys think? Type in the chat. Anybody having like good experiences with apps or bad experiences? What do you guys think? But other than that, Trenthony, yeah, I think just don't post so much, and just basically you got to make a new account when you get banned. This is what Jacobo just said. It's easy and cheap to make a new account when you get banned. Yeah, it's annoying, but that's kind of what you got to do. John says off and on. Sounds about right. Jonathan says, Craigslist is my bread and butter for me. Sounds about right also. I like Craigslist. Craigslist is always my favorite, and I like doing the paid ads on Craigslist, guys. They're $3 to $5 a piece. Daniel says Craigslist and Facebook. Trey says, nah, the IP ban, you get ghosted. What I would do is I would try posting from like Starbucks, McDonald's, etc. Post from a place like that has a lot of different people that use the Wi-Fi there. That's one of the best things to do. I personally have never really gotten ghosted on apps, so I guess I really can't say that. Jacobo says, I'm working on a mini course that posts automatically for you on OfferUp and LetGo. It keeps your ads live every 30 minutes, so they're always on the homepage of listings. Jacobo, that's awesome. You should send me a message after the group chat. We should totally talk about that. If it's awesome and it works good, maybe you could work something out with the course and the people. Daniel says, what about a VPN? Would that help from getting banned or ghosted? Yeah, sometimes VPNs, sometimes they do help. On other platforms, though, sometimes they get detected. But I definitely think a VPN it's not a bad idea by any means. So, Brandon, I'm going to unmute you. You were asking earlier in the chat. For those of you guys who don't know, Brandon does like $20,000 to $30,000 a month, and he's in Texas. You were asking me something about how do I don't know, kind of get pumped up when I go to travel or phone flipping in other areas. Just kind of curious, I guess. You seem kind of curious about it. You plan on doing any traveling or anything?
Yeah, I did it just Thursday and Friday. I went up to Oklahoma and did it. But I've seen it a few times. You've done it where you like go visit somebody and you actually kind of set it up before you go visit. And then you're there, you're visiting family or whatever, but you're also picking up phones. I was kind of wondering how you set it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I do, guys. So when I travel, for those of you guys that have made a little money in the phone flipping industry and you guys want to travel and use this business wherever you go, what I typically do about, if I plan it out good, sometimes I'm not the best at planning. I try and be a planner, obviously, because I'm a thinker, I'm an analytical person. But typically before I travel somewhere, about 2 to 3 days before I travel, I try and post ads in that area. I like to get up like 10 to 15 ads. And by 10 to 15 ads, I'm talking Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups. I try and kind of get in that area a little bit and basically just kind of make it my own. And I even put in my ads that I'm only going to be there for a week and that I pay really good prices for phones. I got cash and I can buy as much as you can get me. And like example, so when I went down to Arizona last time, guys, my second time going to Arizona within a year, I went down there to actually train a student. That was kind of basically a course and then consultation with him. And then I basically personally trained him for like 3 to 4 days while I was down there. But what I did for him down there is I actually personally posted ads for him and I picked up phones while we were in Arizona. So me and him actually went together and did a couple live pickups. We got like a Galaxy S9, we got a couple iPhone 6s, I think of an iPhone 8 Plus, and then a couple cracked 6S Pluses. What was pretty cool is basically I made him around $700 in profit while I was down there. So basically, me coming down there almost paid for part of his, course and then the consultation visit and all that. But basically, when you guys travel to an area, just make it your own. Don't treat it any different than you would, being at home. I definitely think pre-planning your ads out is good. And then another thing to do is go on Google Maps, what I always do. And like when I go down to Arizona, I'm going to be staying in Phoenix, right? So what I like to do is I'll zoom in on Google Maps and I'll look at all the little suburb areas around Phoenix that are like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes out, because I don't want to be posting ads in the wrong zip code. And when I go down there, people are like, yeah, I'm an hour and a half away. So that's something to kind of be careful about. But I mean, other than that, you kind of just got to go down or go to the area that you're going to and kind of just make it your own. So,
okay. And
obviously bring lots of cash, because if you're far away from home and you can only get like 400 a day from ATM, that kind of screws you. So always keep a decent amount of cash on hand.
Yeah. And do you do it? Do you post ads in buy-sell groups? Do you join them?
Yes.
You do.
Yep.
So do you do it with your main account, or do you set up a secondary account to do?
Typically, so when I travel, guys, like if it's like somewhere in like Minnesota or Wisconsin, I'll just join on my main account. But if I'm traveling, I like to do it on an alt account just because of the fact that I don't like my main account getting spammed, while I'm back home. Like I did do that once. The first time I went to Arizona, I posted marketplace ads and I was getting leads like months later from people saying, hey, I have a phone. And I'm like, where are you located? And they're like, Arizona. And I'm like, shoot. So then I was just actually passing the leads off to the guy that I did the training with in Arizona. So free money for him. But yep, just kind of something to keep in mind, guys. If you guys want to travel, I mean, this business, you can do it anywhere. So, and I'm living proof of that. I just did it in Miami, picked up a few phones there. Wasn't really down there for business. That was kind of I just always wanted to go to Florida. I haven't been there since I was a kid. So, but it's definitely possible. Let's see here. Let's see. So we are coming up on tax season, guys. Some of you guys might have already filed. Some of you guys might not have filed at all. Do you guys have any questions about taxes? Because I'm knee deep in all of it right now, so I figured we'd talk about it. Who's got questions about taxes? See a couple people smiling, raising their hands. Who's got questions about taxes? Now, I'm not an accountant, but I do want to talk about taxes. Brandon raised his hand, so I'm going to call on you. What's up, Brandon? What kind of questions do you got?
Okay, I just did my taxes yesterday with my tax agent, and she said something to me that I had absolutely no idea about, and that's with when you do a 1099-K, you have merchandise that you bought from 2018 that you didn't sell in 2018 is going to carry over. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the carrying over merchandise? I had no idea about that.
Absolutely. So I want to tell you guys this. I'm sure you guys noticed that about 2 to 3 weeks before January, I didn't really post much for pickups. And that is what I do every year. I actually will stop buying about 2 to 3 weeks before the year end because of the fact that if you don't sell all of your merchandise from 2018 with your 2018 bill of sales or your record keeping or however you're keeping record of what you're purchasing, it makes your taxes kind of a mess because you got to take all your old inventory and you got to put it into 2019 and it's just kind of a mess. And then you got to deduct it and blah, 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 blah. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Brandon?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And it made it a mess, didn't it? Temporarily.
Yeah, well, all my bill of sales, I just pack in to, for the month, and they're filed away in 2018, and I have all that merchandise. I had, 10 grand in merchandise that, didn't sell. So, yeah, we kind of guessed at it, and hopefully.
Right. Yeah, and see, something to keep in mind, guys. So I'm not an expert when it comes to IRS audits or anything like that, but from people that I've talked to that have been audited, the IRS is not out there to destroy small businesses. They're not out there to, take every penny you have. If you were to get audited and you made an honest mistake because you didn't know, you're going to be okay. Now, if you're over there trying to hide hundreds of $1,000s worth of income and you're claiming, falsification on your tax returns, well, be worried and stop doing that. Do not do that. Do not ever do that. But something like that where if you missed some inventory, but you tried the best to your knowledge and, your accountant knows that because your accountant would be involved in an audit also, you're going to be okay. But that is something to kind of keep in mind, guys. When you guys are coming up on 2019, make sure you guys try and sell out of everything from 2018. And then obviously now 2019 to 2020, just make sure you guys are selling out. It's super important. And that's what I try and do every year.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah. I noticed you were doing that at the end of the year. You were trying to get rid of everything.
Yep. And sometimes I even drop the prices on guys. I don't care if I break even. I don't want to deal with that tax mess. I just don't want it. It's just a mess.
All right,
so yeah, you bet, Brandon. Let's see here. Who else has got questions about taxes? Let's see. Trey says, should we be using Excel to track sales? Yeah, you can use Excel. It's not bad. I'll actually, as soon as I'm kind of done answering everybody's questions about taxes, I'll actually tell you guys what I do. And I think it's actually pretty simple. So Daniel says there are apps for travel expenses that make it easy keeping track of things like mileage. Absolutely. Apps are good, or what you guys can actually do for mileage. What I personally do is I have 2 different vehicles. And so the one vehicle is a business vehicle, and so every mile that gets put on that vehicle is for business, and then the other vehicle is just personal. So that's really nice. Now, in the eyes of tax people or IRS, basically what I was told by my accountant is that if you only have one vehicle, you need to be really careful about logging your miles. But if you have 2 vehicles and you designate one for business, you can deduct all those miles every year. You just need to keep you need to keep a log of the miles. Basically, like if you bought a vehicle with 50,000 miles even on it, but that's your business vehicle, just keep a log each year how many you put on, and at the end of the year, write it, give it to your accountant, and you'll get the full deduction for the miles. Like my truck, those of you guys that have seen, which I'll be doing a ton of YouTube videos hopefully this year, but you guys will see my truck a lot, and that truck is brand new. It's 2019. It had 0 miles on it when I got it. So I think I put on 7,500 miles this year. So I'm going to get 7,500 miles, and I think you get like 50 cents per mile or something like that, 59 cents. It might be more, but I mean, that's going to be, looking at that on a calculator, that's going to be a big tax deduction. I mean, that's like $5 grand, and it might actually be more than 50 cents. I think it's like 59 cents, but it should be nice. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. Rich, did you have questions about taxes?
How you were tracking, just kind of want to see what you were doing.
I just unmuted you, so I didn't hear part of that.
Yeah, just you're gonna talk about it. And I'm just curious how you're tracking, and that's about it.
Sure. Yeah. So as far as tracking everything, guys, I'm actually just gonna show you what I'm doing. So this right here, this is actually a part of 2019. This isn't 2018, but what I've got right here, guys, and I know it kind of looks like a mess, but it's actually super organized. This is my flight. These are my tickets that I purchased from Fort Lauderdale. So basically anything and everything that I buy, some people keep like a journal log, and basically what that is, it's just a journal you buy every year, and you kind of like make certain pages and you log everything that you spend. I don't like that, because if you were to ever get audited, I don't like the fact that the IRS then has to go look at a log that I wrote. What I like is I like printing out everything that I buy. I print everything out like this. This right here, this looks so stupid, but I think it's better than a personal log. But this is the lame receipt that I got for Enterprise Rent-A-Car when I rented a car down there for just a driver. But you can see it's just super simple, guys. But at the bottom, it says Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and it says $241. So it's super important, because if we're going off of handwritten transactions, the IRS could be like, oh, well, we don't really understand the phone business because we don't have a lot of people who file taxes in this industry, so we don't really know what a realistic deduction is like. Well, in the consulting and phone flipping business, I could travel all over, so I could have these all the time. And I just like it better knowing that I have a printed proof showing that I actually did this. So I personally am not big on logging my miles or writing in my expenses. I keep all of my receipts and everything. And I truly think that it's the proper way to do it. At least that's what my accountant told me. So just basically make sure you guys are keeping really good proof of everything and have your printed papers. So.
If I may jump in.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you, I'm looking for an easier way to do this, is how do you track your cost of goods for the year?
As far as like what I paid for goods?
Yeah, what you paid for things.
Bill of sales. I keep all of my bill of sales. And if the customer will not sign a bill of sale, guys, what you guys need to do is you need to write and see, this is where it gets kind of complicated, because the IRS is going to look for patterns, such as, did this person do a good job of keeping log of, what they bought? So when a customer won't sign a bill of sale, you need to try and write down basically the transaction date, where it happened, what time, how much cash you used, what you bought, and how much you purchased it for. And if you do have a name and a phone number, write that down too. Just basically, it's a log showing the IRS that in good faith, you did the best possible thing that you could in the situation to keep a log of what you paid.
Right. And then when and how are you adding up those costs?
I try and add them up every month, or you can add them up at the end of the year. It depends if you do that, or, some people will hire an accountant at the end of the year, and they'll pay, the person $300-400 to basically go through everything they've got. In fact, let me actually show you guys what I've got here. Just grab my file. So as you can see, guys, I've got a whole folder. It says 2018 receipts, and I will tell you guys everything that I've got labeled in here. So I'm just going to go through this quick. So I've got one tab in here that says supplies. Now I'm just going to pull one of these out and see what this is. First receipt that I see, guys, is Office Max. It's printer ink or labels. So supplies is just kind of stuff like, computer parts, let's see here, printing paper, stuff like that. So supplies. The next tab that I've got, guys, is computer software. Now this is basically software such as, any marketing expenses, anything like that, programs, editing software, stuff like that. I actually do have a separate tab for marketing expenses too. I'm a little bit overdone with my stuff, but I like to be overdone rather than underdone. And then I've got a tab in here called customer losses. Customer losses, guys, are when an eBay seller scams me or, were to scam you. Any kind of stuff like that I lost the case at, I print out the case loss and I record what I paid for the item and how much the buyer or seller scammed me out of something, and then I print that off and put it in that slot. Luckily, mine's empty this year. So, but that's something. And then I've got another tab. Like I said, I'm a little bit overdone. I have another tab in here called return scams. Same thing. If somebody tries to do a bait and switch and I end up losing the case. And then the other one I've got in here is gas receipts, which obviously you want to do that. And if you guys look, I'm just going to pull this out. This is you can see it's just super thick full of receipts. And this has been smashed in here. But if you were to plop this out, it's like, yeah. So I've got all my gas receipts. And then the other tab I've got, guys, is donations. If I have stuff that's really old that I bought, like let's say I bought when I bought a bunch of stuff from Pawn America, those of you guys that know about that deal, I bought about $26,000 worth of stuff from Pawn America. I did have a lot of stuff in there that I didn't end up selling. I had already made my profit from the deal. I made around $8,000 profit off that whole deal. And then I had a bunch of phones that were just kind of like flip phones, slider phones, older iPhones that just wouldn't sell. So I took them out of Goodwill, and then I kept all my donations in one folder. The next one that I got is food with clients. When I did meet with clients in person, I record all of my receipts from restaurants, etc. So that's another one that's important. And then I've got, let's see, shipping supplies and expenses. So that's another separate one if I buy like a printer specifically. And then I've got business trips. And then the other one I've got is completed bill of sales. And that one's obviously super thick. I've got a separate folder for that. So that's what I've got, guys. If you guys have any questions about that, feel free to shoot it right now. But that's what I've got for my taxes. So mine are pretty organized, I guess. And like I said, it's just basically I got this from Walmart. It's what I do every year. It's got a bunch of tabs in it, and it just looks like that. So And if you guys want, I wouldn't have a problem taking a picture of this and like telling you guys what tabs I've got, because you guys will be really surprised as you guys go throughout the year, you know, all the little different things that you might not think of that you should be recording. So does that kind of help out at all, Richard?
It does. It does. Thank you.
Awesome. And then one more thing, guys, too, that I wanted to talk about. So you guys are probably wondering, what about your like eBay stuff? So I could probably make a video on this when I get back from Arizona, but this is what I do. So under the eBay Seller Hub, I'm just looking at this. I don't have these added up yet, but under the eBay Seller Hub, you guys can go under there and actually print off I think it's like 2 months. You can do 2 months at a time, guys. You can go into the eBay Seller Hub and print off 2 at a time, and it will actually show you guys what your total expenses are. So if you highlight total expenses on here, it'll show subscriptions, shipping labels, PayPal fees, final value fees, listing fees, fee credits, and discounts. So what I do is I go out and I print off basically 6 pieces of paper, and then each piece of paper will show 2 months worth of expenses. Then I add that all up, and that goes into my deductions pile. Another thing that I got is GoDaddy for my website registration. And then obviously Zoom. By the way, guys, these group chats I pay for them every month, so it's super awesome when you guys show up, and they're better because we get more questions. Then another thing you guys should be deducting is your internet bill right there. It's an $800 deduction. ClickFunnels cost me $1,100 this year. And that's something that I pay for too, whether anybody new signs up or not. That's for you guys for the course. And then another big one, and you guys should all know this because we all deal in phones, is your phone bill expense. That's another $2,000 write-off. So, and then also if you guys are renting a storage unit or a car, or if you guys are renting a trailer, make sure you guys are getting rent certificates and proof of that stuff also. So just all stuff I wanted to talk about, guys. Juan says, do you divide them by month or just whole year together? Yeah, basically what I do is, so each one of those tabs in that folder, it doesn't go by the month, but when I do it month by month, I will clump the receipts together and then I staple them. And then on the top receipt, I just write like June, July, August, September, October. So when I pull them all out, there's just basically separate stapled piles basically. So when you pull them all out, they're all organized. So you guys can do it at the end of the year, but it's extremely difficult to do that. So, okay. So we got one person asking a question that scares me. And I hope that you're planning on filing taxes, but I'm going to unmute Brian if he's still here. Brian asks, do you need to file taxes? Yes, you need to file taxes. And you know what? It's actually a good question, and I'm not trying to put anyone down or anything. Brian, do you got a microphone? I wanted to unmute you if you're there. Brian, are you there? Can anybody hear Brian? I can't hear Brian.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can hear you.
All right. So yeah, I was asking because I mean, I guess I started flipping January 12th, 2018.
Okay.
Like a year, right? But when I started off, it was kind of like let's say kind of like a hobby. So I wasn't taking it serious. I wasn't like keeping track of everything and, you know, expenses and everything until like, you know, a couple months ago, I started thinking about it like, wait a minute, like, you know, I should have kept everything in order so that I can file taxes. And I was kind of not planning on doing taxes because it's just like everything is just unorganized. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if it's your first year, I definitely recommend filing. But if you didn't get a 1099 from PayPal, the IRS probably, and I'm not giving any guarantees here, but they're not going to just show up on your door and be like, hey, you owe us a bunch of money. Typically, the IRS audits people who are doing $250,000 or more per year. And the reason for that being is they don't want to audit some small fish that they're going to completely raid everything and then they get absolutely nothing out of you because you're actually broke and they made a mistake. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But if you got a 1099 from PayPal, if you go onto your guys' PayPal account and you look under tax documents and there's something there, you really should file taxes.
Yeah, that's what, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. And if you don't have the best record of everything, try and go back and make a log, try and remember stuff. I mean, try and get some deductions because See, it's really good to keep track of stuff, guys, because if you guys don't keep track of anything at the end of the year, you guys are going to show a ton. You guys are going to show a ton of income, and you guys are not going to have any deductions. So Joe says, Joe, by the way, guys, just want to give you guys a heads up. Don't want to scare anybody, but we do have a member actually in our group that is a retired civil IRS agent. And what he just wrote in chat is, his name's Joe, and he's totally cool and everything, guys, so don't be scared or anything. He said, you will get a letter if you don't report the 1099. Joe, do you have a microphone? Because that would actually be awesome if you could speak on that for a second. Because basically what the IRS has told PayPal, from my understanding, if you guys do $20,000 per year in gross sales and you also do over 200 transactions, PayPal sends a 1099 to the IRS. So if you go into your PayPal tab and under tax documents, there is a 1099 printout. You guys 100% need to file taxes because the IRS is getting notified that you are not just a hobby seller, you have started a business.
Exactly. Yeah, once you get a 1099, they're going to be looking to see that it's reported on your tax return. So it does have to be reported. I mean, even if you have expenses to offset it and you wind up with a loss after that, that's fine. But, you know, they may not come out and knock on your door, but you will get a letter from the IRS, and, you know, you could have like a correspondence type one item audit asking about that 1099 if it's not there.
Right. So basically what Joe's saying, if you guys get the 1099, it's much better to file than not to file. Because if you don't file at all and the IRS has been informed that you got a 1099, well, the IRS is going to be like, what's this guy's deal? What's he hiding, and why doesn't he just file his taxes? Right, Joe?
Yeah, they do a match. I mean, all those 1099s that are filed in W-2s, they match to those returns, not manually, basically by computer. And they kick out the ones that, you know, where it's not reported, and then they will send you a letter in the mail and say, you know, yeah, you'll just get a letter in the mail asking why it's not reported. So
awesome. Thanks, Joe. Super appreciate that. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
no problem.
But yeah, guys. So no, taxes are huge. Make sure to file them. Let's see. Jonathan said I wanted to talk real quick. Jonathan, I'm gonna unmute you. What's going on, my man?
Hey, how's it going, Luke?
Hey, pretty good.
Hey, is it possible if I can share my screen? Because I just wanted to share, you know, my spreadsheet with the group just to give everyone a general idea of, you know, how I got mine set up. You know, maybe it'll give them, you know, give them an idea how you want to set up your spreadsheet, you know, to make it easy for them to keep, you know, track of their sales and everything and expenses.
Absolutely.
I think I hit the share button right down here in the group chat.
Yep, just hit share screen or hit, once you hit share, you'll see a selection on which screen to share.
Okay.
So Jonathan's going to show his screen, guys. I guess Jonathan has kind of a cool spreadsheet going on in Excel, so maybe this will give you guys an idea.
I don't know about all that cool and stuff. It's just simple.
Sure, well, let's see it. Simple is good. Sometimes less is more. Okay,
so this is my spreadsheet right here. So something that I created. So like, for example, you know, I just got the sold date, the name of the phone that was sold. Let's see here. How much I paid for it. Well, yeah, the price that sold on eBay. Let's see here. Move this out of the way so I can see. So the price is sold on eBay right here. Excuse me. I know the buyer paid shipping and the total price, because I got the sales formulated too. So give me a total. So this is a total run of $500, you know, the date. Let's see here. So I got the IMEI numbers. So I type in all the IMEI numbers and ESN numbers.
Okay.
You know, phone that I sell. You know, the item cost of the phone that I bought. You know, the shipping costs, eBay, PayPal fees, total. So pretty much I just go on the eBay invoice to get that information.
Sure.
And this is the total fees cost that I got right here. Then it'll let me know what my profit is right here. And this is like a running profit in a percentage, you know, that I'm, you know, got going on over here. Yeah, my sale right now is kind of janky right now because, you know, kind of goofed up on me. So I got to go back and, you know, fix that. But I just wanted to show real quick, you know, just, you know, some details of, you know, how you keep track and see how things go in your business and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Looks like a couple people in the chat kind of like that idea. So
yeah, it just keeps it simple. Then, you know, of course, you know, I'm from Dave's program too. So I use the the slips that he used to provide too, as far as, paperwork and all that good stuff. So
physical slips are good.
Yeah, physical slips is real good. So I just use that information from the physical slips to transfer it over to the Excel spreadsheet, call it a day. So that way I have two separate, data points that I can go by. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Thanks for sharing, John.
Oh, no problem. Let me see if I can flip you back. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, you just hit share screen again, and it should say stop sharing.
Yeah, I did something here. Hang on. Let's see here.
One thing I wanted to talk about, which is super important, by the way, guys. Obviously, reporting your taxes is really important, but it's almost as important, if not more important. So you guys want to be into phone flipping. You guys want to obviously take this money and do other stuff with it, right? Obviously. So what you guys need to do that is you guys need to have like a solid 2 years of self-employment tax documents. So if you guys aren't reporting your taxes, I really, really, really recommend that you start doing that. It's just kind of something to keep in mind. You guys can't really ever, you really can't. You can't.
Yeah, bear with me. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hold on a second.
Thank you, man.
No problem. You guys can't get a loan from the bank if you guys don't have a solid 2 years of tax documents. So it's just kind of something to keep in mind. Honestly, in my personal advice, even if you did not get a 1099 from the IRS, wouldn't be a bad idea to start reporting that business income, because one, if you guys only did like $25,000 for the year in sales, first off, you're probably not going to pay in any taxes, especially if you're still working a job and you have all these deductions. But what it's going to do is when you go to the bank, they're just going to see that as extra income, and it's going to qualify you for bigger, better loans, better interest rates, etc., because the bank's going to want your business. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. Like Brandon said, won't ever be able to buy a house unless you show profits. Correct, but there is something to keep in mind. When you guys go to get a loan from the bank, at least in Wisconsin, the bank will take all of your depreciating things that you bought. So example, if you bought, say, a truck for like $10,000 and you're going to use it for the business, well, that's a depreciating asset. And so the bank looks at that as, well, Luke had the cash at hand to buy that truck or to finance that truck. So we're not going to actually minus that income. When you go to get a loan, they're going to take that income and put it back into your actual income. It's kind of complicated, but basically the only thing the bank goes off of is your net income and then your depreciated assets back into your income. So just something to kind of keep in mind. So example, like when I go to the bank and they see that I paid $2,000 for a laptop and $2,000 for a computer, well, since I had the cash to buy that stuff, the bank isn't gonna look at that as, oh, well, that means his income is $4,000 less. No, because I had the cash to invest in my business. So that's actually a good thing. But when it comes to taxes, your depreciating assets will actually lower your income. So depreciating assets are really good. Something to kind of think about. Richard says, don't need credit to buy houses. You just need to have a little cash and hustle to find a motivated seller. Yeah, that's also true. Land contracts are a big thing if you guys got cash. I've done a few land contracts. They're kind of awesome. And not to mention, you can usually get better rates than you would at a bank anyways. And most guys who are willing to do land contracts own multiple properties. So kind of something to think about. If you do one good property through them, pay it off, you might have the opportunity to own more. Jacobo says it's your income, depreciating assets minus expenses such as credit cards, car payments, etc. Exactly. Jonathan says if you guys want a copy of the spreadsheet, just let me know. Yeah, Jonathan, the guy that showed the spreadsheet, guy's name is Jonathan Rumbly in the group. I hope I pronounced your last name right, but just shoot him a message. Super friendly guy. Nice guy too. Another guy who has a good spreadsheet is Brandon. I actually like Brandon's spreadsheet too. So it's a little bit colorful, but it's a nice spreadsheet. So he's laughing. All right, guys. Brian says, how much should I report then? I want to report only what's convenient. Man, you're putting me in a tough spot right now. Just if you're going to report your taxes, just report all of them or don't report them at all. I don't really know how to answer that question. I'm not liable for what you do with your taxes. I'm just trying to give you guys advice on how to properly keep your taxes recorded. So, basically what I would do if you don't have a 1099 yet, add up all of your expenses and then go into your PayPal thing and print off the sheet and see where you're at, I guess. If you want to privately message me, I can try and give you advice. But like I said, I'm not a tax consultant and I'm not an IRS agent. So, yeah, I just flip phones. But anyways, yeah. group chat, guys, we're coming up on 45 minutes here, minus like the 10 we took to get started. So we're at about 30 minutes. Super awesome group chat, guys. Good questions, good feedback. We'll do another one next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time. I appreciate everybody coming out. There's like 17 of us in here. If we can get up to like 20, 25 guys, that'd be super awesome. Just because group chats, guys, group chats are good. Thanks for the wishes, Daniel. Like I said, I'll be traveling to Arizona this week, guys. So blow my phone up. Let me know what you guys want for content. Last time I went to Arizona, I got this hilarious live phone transaction on where I went to go grab a Galaxy S8, or no, the Galaxy S9 with the student that I was training. And it's just like straight out of the movies. For those of you guys, before we close here, I want to tell you guys a story. So we roll up to this gated community, and you know, I was like, okay, like this is going to be an okay deal. And I go to knock on the house, and I got the phone recorded in my pocket. And it was like something like right out of like a Fast and the Furious movie. Like if you were to go into the ghetto, or like if you guys have seen the movie Blow, it's about a big drug trafficker. But I knock up to the house, and like the house looks nice and everything. It was like a townhouse. It was in a gated community. And this little kid is in the window, and he's like, "What you want?" And I'm like, "Oh no." I'm like, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was something really ghetto. It was like Tyrone or something. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here for Tyrone." And the kid in the window is just like, "Hey, Ma, he's here for Tyrone." And I'm like, "Oh, no, this is one of those situations." This guy comes down. He's like the 6'5" black guy. And he's just totally shredded. And he's just completely tatted up. Not that I judge a book by its cover, but he's just like, "Hey, what up, man? You here for the phone?" I'm like, "Yes." I just start speaking his language. I'm like, yeah, man. And everything's all good and everything. You know, I mean, I know how to play it cool and, you know, be smooth. But all of a sudden, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but criminals, and then just seems like anybody of color, they just don't like being recorded unexpectedly. Guy sees that my phone's recording because I went like this, and he saw like part of the camera, and he's just like, "Oh, nah, man, you ain't recording me." He's like, "Nah, dog." And this guy just starts freaking out, and I'm like, "No." I got the video somewhere on my computer. I'll have to upload it for you guys, but he just got mad. Like, you could just tell the tone just completely changed. He's just like, "Nah, man." I'm just like, "Sorry, man, just trying to post some videos for some people." But of course to him, like, he doesn't know who I am. I'm in Arizona. He's never met me. Yes, I still got the phone. And I got the recording. But yeah, it was pretty funny. So anyways, guys, I'll have to get that. But hopefully I'll get some more live videos for you down in Arizona. Should be pretty cool. So I'll see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. I should be back home. So yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Awesome group chat. If you guys got any questions about taxes or anything else that we talked about here tonight, send me a message, and I'll get the replay uploaded for you guys tonight too. So see you guys later, and have an awesome week.